Hi, editing Jazz here. Before you watch this video, I just want you to know that while we recorded this, we ran into some technical problems, which means that your question might not be answered in this video. We are very sorry for that. We are going to reply to those comments on Facebook, those questions. So if it's not answered in this video, then we will answer your question on Facebook. We are very sorry this happened. We did a bit of an oopsie. So anyway, with that in mind, I hope you'll enjoy the video and I'll let you get to it. Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
A few days ago, we invited you to ask us some questions.
Mm-hmm. And you were very, very good at giving us some really good questions.
There are many questions and just as many answers, and probably questions arising from those answers. And we will address them all, or will we?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off immediately. So first off, there's two questions which were posed to us on Instagram by Christine Exists. I'm glad to hear that, Christine.
We're very happy.
Metal Girl K-Side.
Yeah.
Henry. Metal Girl K-Side Henry. So it's not the same question, but it's the same answer, because Christine Exists asked us, have you ever experienced any issues with your stage equipment while performing? If so, what did you do? And Metal Girl K-Side Henry asked, what was the craziest, most embarrassing thing that's happened on stage? So this is one and the same. So we were on tour with Combi Christ in the UK. I think this was Bristol. I'm not sure. I think so too. I think it was Bristol. And this was back in the dark ages, and everyone in the scene was using MP3 players to run the backtrack. So we were using iPods. And we had two iPods. And the thing about the old iPod was that it had they didn't have solid state discs.
No, they were disc readers, like
so sometimes if the bass got too heavy on stage, so that it really started vibrating in the floor, the disc could start skipping. At which point the backing track would just stop. At this time in Bristol, in the middle of a song, I don't remember which song.
Me neither. I don't remember.
But in the middle of the song, the bass got too much for it, and the iPod just died.
Thinking of it, it could have been Morning Star, because at the start it could have been Morning Star, and that bass is really ga-doom, 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 ga-doom.
And the iPod just shake to death, and we couldn't get it going again, and we didn't have the other one on hand, so I had to run out to the tour bus and find our other iPod.
And while he was doing that, I was stuck on stage.
While you entertained the troops.
It was horrible. I was standing there and was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go get it. And I thought, okay, that's just great. And I see him running off, and in front of me are hundreds of people, like, just looking at me like, sorry, okay, hit us with something. And I just started putting these one-liners, like trying to entertain people, and I was freaking out. It was horrible. And then Anders came back, and I was like, whew, yes, now he can take over. Here's a microphone, Anders, say something. So it was, I'm not a good stand-up comedian. Some people might think I'm funny, but put me on the spot on a stage alone in front of hundreds of people without a script, I freeze. It was awful. Oh god. So that was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and after this incident, we started putting our iPods on top of several layers of towels.
Yeah, we had like stacks of towels.
Yeah. So that they wouldn't shake apart. I still have those iPods, and they both still work though.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Still working.
Jesus.
That's that. So let's move to the next set of questions. Okay, so Jasmine08 asks, "What's your favorite Hitchcock movie?"
I actually know the answer to this one. I really like Rear Window, and I have a soft spot for Psycho as well, of course, who doesn't? And The Birds, of course, but the acting in The Birds is kind of not really my taste. I like the idea about The Birds. It is scary. It's a really good scary movie, but my favorite is actually Rear Window. What about you?
Did you see the remake with Christopher Reeve?
I don't think I did.
My favorite Hitchcock movie is The Lady Vanishes.
I could have suspected as much.
From 1938. I like that movie so much. I have it on on a Criterion disc. So no, that one's awesome. But of course, I also like Rear Window and Psycho, and
yeah,
Hitchcock made a lot of movies. I also like Vertigo.
Vertigo is really good too. God damn it! Now I want to watch Hitchcock.
Yeah, exactly. Now I feel like having a like Hitchcock movie marathon.
Yeah. Okay. So that's another thing to do for the tour, I guess.
Yeah. So Scarlett Has Scars.
Yeah, she did it. That's a.
Yeah. Said, "I'd love to know what synthesizers you like to use live." So that's more a question for Joanne and Elliot.
Yeah. Yes, Johan, I can answer a bit for him. He has used that one. That's the Roland Axe. It's one of his favorites. It doesn't have the most amazing sounds, but the actual mechanics in the synthesizers allows you to do really cool things with the sounds, like pitch bends and sustains and releases and everything. So you can really affect the sound that you have in the synthesizer. The other synthesizer is our Moog Subsequent 37. It's over there somewhere. That's also one of our favorites. We've used it a few times with Ashbury now, but for this tour, we're not doing either of them. We're actually doing software this time, bringing just a MIDI innovation, which is just like you control the software sounds with an external keyboard. So this time he's actually using a new synthesizer, and it's called Surge. And that's actually a free one, and the sounds are actually superb, to be honest. It's the exact same sounds that we need. So that's what we're doing this time. So we're just using VSTs and software synthesizers for this tour right now. But who knows what we'll do for Berlin, for example. We like to change it up a bit.
The Moog is actually probably our all-time favorite, because we used the Moog. We used the Mini Moog for almost all bass sounds on the first album. And
the Mini Moog is an extremely well put together VST synthesizer, so you can download it and try it yourself. So it's amazing. And now we just happen to have the version.
Yeah, and I also used the Mini Moog a lot when I produced your Javelin album. It's just really easy to work with, and it sounds really good. What Elliot does is all a mystery. He uses all kinds of stuff, including a theremin. I'm not sure. It's like he's just beyond everything.
Johan liked to add that he used to play your Juno synthesizer. It's a really, 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 really big, heavy synthesizer, and he thought about it. And at the time when he played it, that was like super long ago, like one of our first tours, for example. And back then he couldn't appreciate just how amazing it was, so he just thought about it the other day and thought if I had the opportunity to try it again, he would very much like to, because now he appreciates them in another way.
The old Juno series was really incredibly easy to use. It was really fast.
And sound amazing.
Yeah, everything you did on it sounded good, and it was so intuitive. It was basically impossible to do anything wrong. It was just really good. There's a reason they're still like sought after. Anyway,
yes, moving on.
Michael Kaphana, or since he's asking any chance you will ever come to the United States, I assume it's Michael Kaphhamer, asks, and
so
he
too.
will have to represent everyone who asked this question. We've been getting this question.
We don't want to say no.
Yeah, we've been getting this question for close to 15 years. The simple answer is it's so insanely expensive to go across the Atlantic that it's pretty much impossible to make it work, because just the flights is $4,000. It's and you need to bring a crew because it's so far away. You really don't want to be stranded there with just people you don't know. So you want to bring a crew, you want to bring a manager. Basically, you end up with a situation where we need like $10,000 just to break even.
Yeah.
And we've actually been offered $10,000 for gigs in Mexico. We're doing some. We're negotiating again right now, and we might actually come to Mexico this time. Maybe sometime this year. But it's so incredibly expensive, and even if we do come to Mexico, like the logical thing, if we're there anyway, the logical thing for us would be like, okay, yeah, hell yeah, let's go to America, let's go to Canada, let's do a tour.
Yeah.
But then you come in, then you got the work permit and the green card and stuff like that, and it becomes suddenly it's such a hassle, and everything is so incredibly expensive. We really want to. We've had some wonderful offers over the years. We've had some wonderful people come with these wonderful ideas, and it's been like, yeah, this would be awesome to do. But in the end, it's just we can't afford to do it. And if there comes a day when we get a good offer, and we can actually afford accepting that offer, we'll be there. It's not because it's not about us not, it's not about us not wanting to go. It's about being able to go, being given the right set of tools,
conditions
to go. And
I can give you some perspective on this. Yeah, just for some perspective. Again, like Anders said, it's not that we don't want to go or that we don't realize that we have fans and supporters in all of America and the South and the North America and Canada and everything. But we have friends, other musicians in other genres with a great amount of support. And they toured with great, huge bands, like really known bands. But for them to even get there, they had to get the visas, pay for them, and they had to hope they got it in time before the tour even started, because these things have to connect. And while they were actually there, they lived and breathed in a van. They barely had enough money to break even when they got back home, or eat or sleep. And we're talking like big metal bands. Like they supported not some small, tiny club band. It was huge bands. And they still had troubles making things work. And I mean, we realize we have support and we really love the support, but the amount of money that is needed to make a tour in America or Mexico or Canada work, that I don't even know what kind of number to put on that, because it's just expensive. We really want to. So please don't think that we don't want to come to you or don't know you exist, because really, we know you exist. Trust us, we really do. So, and we love your support and everything, but it's just really challenging for us to, cross that big pond. It's not cheap. So, sorry to have that boring answer, but it's the reality.
Fredrik Westergård Tanskanen asks us, när spelar ni i Malmö?
När spelar ni i Malmö?
Yeah, we're both horrible scones.
We can't do that accent.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, when do we play in Malmö in Sweden? We'd love to. The last time we played in Malmö was 2010 at Electric Christmas. So if anyone knows, I mean, unless we're persona non grata now because of the terrible impression of Skåningar, so we'd love to come to Malmö.
We're sorry. Yeah, we'll come to Malmö, Stockholm, or anything. Just hit us up. We'll come flying to you guys.
We always, like, we've never had a big audience in Sweden. We've always had our main audiences in Germany and Central Europe and the UK. So we always say yes to gigs in Sweden because it's so fun to play in our own country. So when do we come to Malmö? Just
when you get us there, I guess.
Just let us know when we're there. Hold on.
I am holding on to my fancy little goblet.
Yes, there we go. Robert Koritke asks us, hey guys, what are you doing the last 3 minutes before entering the stage? Trying to be in Hamburg after Subkultur Hannover on Friday. Okay, so first and foremost, Robert, I hope you make it. Hope to see you there. What do we do the last 3 minutes? Well, basically, like...
It varies.
Yeah, the last like 20-30 minutes before you go on stage, someone comes to get you. And then you're standing like on the other side of the stage, like back at the rear of the stage, and you're just waiting.
Yep.
And while you're waiting, you're sort of, I mean, we do a lot of we do a lot of like vocal exercises. So there's a lot of me and la 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 going on.
In general.
Yeah, those last minutes are always unbearable because
oh my god, the nerves.
It's this space between it's the space between waiting and doing. It's a very frustrating like moment in time.
It is limbo. I'm serious. That is limbo, and it's purgatory. It's just, you don't know anything. You're just existing for a moment, and you can barely cope with it. That's what's happening. It's like forced mindfulness. You are in the now. Yeah.
But the now is nothing.
No, it's nothing.
The now is
a lot
vacuum.
Of sound.
So Paul McLaren, this is for you, Jasmine. Paul McLaren starts off with a very nice compliment. Jasmine is clearly an accomplished vocalist. And singer. I mean, vocalist, singer, potato. Well, anyway, how has the transition been for her to incorporate the back catalog of material that featured previous singers? So basically, how have you felt about learning songs that were originally recorded by Kari or Thea?
Well, the funny thing is that I actually recorded the major part of all the vocals for Take Care Paramore. We had them recorded before I quit the band. So they are not too unfamiliar to me. I know them, and that's not a big problem. And then I'm going to include a little clip from our rehearsals, and you can get like a taste of what the newer things sound with me my voice instead of Thea's, for instance. So you're going to see that right now. I don't think it's that particularly difficult. We have about the same range. There's not a big difference. The biggest problem, to be honest, is to learn lyrics. The lyrics can sometimes like mess up my head because maybe I don't relate to it in the same way. I kind of see things differently, or me myself writing lyrics, sometimes I can think, oh, that's a clever line, or I can think I would have used that word instead, and that can get stuck, and I have to get past that and like, no, Jess, just do what it says. So sometimes those are the biggest problems, but so far it's been kind of okay, really. Not been that difficult. I think I got most of it down, to be honest. But thank you for the really nice comment. We'll just have to see if it holds up.
There was actually a part 2 to that question. Paul also asked, will your live material be reimagined in order to incorporate the addition of your prominent guitar player? The answer to this is and always has been no. Joanne has been working with me in several bands. Me and him have Joanne is one of my oldest friends. I've known him since 1997. Back then he had dreads and was even more baby-faced than now, and his favorite band was Four.
I sent you a picture when he had cut his dreads off, remember?
Yeah. And Johan played with me in my first band, and he was with me in my second band, and then after a while he was invited to be a part of Ashbury Heights Live. So we've been working with each other for all our adult lives, and I let him play guitars because he's a guitar player, but I don't
really good at it.
Yeah, he's an amazing guitar player. I gave up on playing guitar. I started out as a guitar player, but I don't have the patience to practice constantly to remain good. He does, and he adds things. I think that's an important part of being a live band. Ashbury Heights is not the same thing live as on record. When we're live, we remix our songs, we add things that aren't there on the albums. We do things that change the experience, and we often also perform remixes of our songs. So seeing us live is to see something new and to hear different interpretations of the songs. And when Johan plays guitars, he adds things that weren't there to begin with. And I think that's exciting. Yeah. And a lot of the times, I don't even know what he's going to do. And I think...
I was going to say that. Sometimes you don't even know what he's going to do.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes he does something live and it just makes my day because he did something that made me happy in that moment. So basically the answer is no, and we're really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to see what that leads to.
I actually have a piece of Johan's response to that too. He said basically the same thing. He said whether or not the live material will be reimagined to accommodate guitars, Ashbury Heights will probably never be a rock band, and I, for one, like playing both keyboards and guitars live. But who knows? Would anyone like to know Ashbury Heights sound like a rock band? You're not going to do that. You're not going to get that. But we know what it would sound like. But
to me, though, to me, a rock band is more about attitude than genre, because rock is such a wide word that doesn't really mean that much except a certain frame of mind. To me, Ashbury Heights sometimes is a rock band. Well, we do certainly have rock songs, and a rock song doesn't have to feature guitars at all. I certainly think a song like Headlights is a rock song. I think a song like if you're shooting with your left, it means the right side is working. I think that's a rock song.
Yeah, and November Corrosion is a rock song. World Coming Down is a rock song. We have
definitely. So
and if you want to know what Johan sounds like in a synthesized band, I mean, he plays with me in Javelin. There's a perfect example of what he does when he's free to do anything with a guitar. A free rein guitarist. He has no reins from me. He can do whatever he likes. He's very accomplished, and we are very happy to have him with us.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Nick Lure, something. Greetings, Ashbury. Greetings.
Hello.
Um,
Greetings.
Listener for 6 years. My question is, outside of music, you and your mates are very busy with your professional lives. Has something changed that made live performance a priority this year? Okay, so
A lot of things.
this is
A
very
lot of things.
yeah, this is very true. Basically, the reason Ashbury didn't play first of all, the reason Ashbury Heights didn't play live between 2010 and 2014 was that the band was involved in a legal dispute and basically couldn't. And the reason Ashbury Heights didn't play live that much after 2014, after the release of the Looking Glass Society, after Thea joined, is because Thea was and is a really successful scholar of criminology, and she just did not have the time to tour, and she did not have the time to do gigs very often, because she was busy with a very impressive academic career, and that was also, if you read her farewell message to the fans, that was also the reason that she left the band. She wanted to focus wholeheartedly on that academic career. When the band reformed after Thea quit, we found ourselves with a lot more time on our hands and a lot more opportunity to play live. So after having asked Jas and Johan to join the new live set, we wanted to play live as much as we possibly could, and that's what we're trying to do. So basically, that's the reason. We have, with the current setting of the band, we have more time to play live, and we are going to try and play more live because we really enjoy that. And me personally, I have really missed that for a very long time. So it's incredibly valuable to me to be able to do that now.
Yes.
And hopefully that it's something that we can keep going for a while. Jerry Del Valle, or Valle, asked, I just want to know when there will be a US tour. So see our previous answer.
Yes, previous answer to that.
Yeah, Tom Schmitz asked, your vocals are always a distinguished feature. Thank you. How does your studio and live chain compare or contrast? I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, because in the studio, I produce and mix all Ashbury Heights output, and in the studio, I have control over the effect chains and the mixing procedure. Live, that's
cutting and everything.
Yeah, live, that's up to the front of house mix engineer, and what they do, we have no control over that, and we just hope that they're good, or at least competent.
When you sing live, you can obviously not do retakes. You cannot add dubs to yourself, like those kind of effects. But the other effects, like reverb, or that is more usually known like echo, like big roomy effect that you get of the vocals. You can add reverb live, you can compress live, and the most important thing is the equalizer. And both me and Anders, we know roughly where we have like these annoying kind of sounds, like sharp sounds or really bad sounds in our voices. So that's usually something that the sound guy takes care of. I mean, he has these knobs and he takes those frequencies away from our voice just to make it more pleasant to the ear in the long run. And he adds some reverb and whatever. But the biggest difference is that this is something where you have to perform on the spot right there and then. We do not use auto-tune live, for instance, or those fancy things. You just have to it's like the most pretentious karaoke.
Playing live, you're always in the hands the house engineer, and
Sound guy.
yeah. Sometimes the sound guy is good, sound guy or
Sometimes they are
sound
fucking
woman.
awful.
Sometimes they're really horrible. But the thing is, you never notice, because when you're on stage, you just do your job, and then afterwards
Yeah.
you talk to people, and they will tell you, "Ah, this was a great show," or they will tell you, "The sound
Yeah.
was horrible." Okay, so the next question is from Ara Gurr.
Ooh.
And she's asking, "Hi guys, listeners since 2010. So my question is, when are you coming to Mexico?" And
Aww.
so
Same answer.
yeah, referring you to our previous answer, but also in the line of that answer saying, hopefully this year.
Hopefully this year, but we're not making a promise here.
Not promising anything, but
close
hopefully
to being
this
able
year.
to.
Yeah.
Yes, we're hoping.
Brian Przewski asked, "Come to Detroit. It's not so bad."
It's not so bad.
I'm sure we would find a lot of things to love about Detroit.
Yep.
But we will refer you to previous answer. Sean Johnson, any plans to tour the United States?
Sorry to sound like a broken record, but you know.
Yeah. Kazuya Kobayashi, any UK tour, guys? We hope so.
We hope.
We really
hope.
so.
Those are easier to pull together than the cross-Atlantic ones.
Our tour manager is actually looking into taking the Persistent Illusions tour to UK right now. We are trying to do that. Naturally, massive ego being UK people wants to do it. So we are really trying. We haven't been able to work out a deal yet, but hopefully we will come to UK this year. No promises.
And
we really hope so.
The easiest way for you to get any band that you want to get to your home city or your country is to find your local promoters, find a club, or if you have like a major club that you know usually takes in bands, talk to them, write them, ask them to, could you maybe look into getting this or that band to this venue? And the more people that do that, if you show interest in the live scene, that's an incentive for them to contact bands and at least, look at the possibilities. So we rely on you guys on that.
Kajsa Stenberg asks, when are you guys coming to the US? Phil Hayes, hi, love you guys. When are you coming to the UK? It's not that far. No, it isn't. And
it isn't.
Like we said, hopefully 2020. Watch this space. Rafael Gironda, any chance for Wave Gothic Treffen? We don't know.
Nope.
We don't know.
We do know. Not this year.
We were there was when we did the Spiders video, so that's 2008.
Yeah. That's 2008.
And
so that's a long goddamn time.
We don't actually. I don't know why we haven't been there since. No one's asked us since then.
We don't know if there's gonna be VGT this year. Usually festivals, that goes for any festival question, by the way. Festivals usually book their artists like at the end of the previous year, like straight after they just had the festival. So most of the time, not saying every time, they will have a completed roster and they will announce the bands during the year, first half of the year, just to like give you guys some information. But the bands are usually already booked unless something happens and they ask like a band, oh, like they couldn't come, could you jump in and take this spot, for instance? So if we haven't been asked by now, chances are not that great that we'll play a festival this year. But you don't know. We're not sure. We cannot say when we're going to be at a festival. It's all up to the festival. We cannot make those decisions. That's up to them.
Usually we know 8 months in advance. But
yeah, usually at least.
Yeah. So, okay. Enrique Gallegos, Mexico is possible. Yes, Mexico is possible.
Mexico is possible.
but we don't promise anything.
No promises.
Sven Tho asks, the tour is getting closer. When will The Past is Perfect be released? The Past is Perfect will not be released until after the tour. We will perform it on tour.
Yeah.
So people attending the tour will get a preview of the song.
Yeah, first-hand exclusive preview.
Yeah. And the reason for this is that we basically did not have the time to finish it and release it for the tour. The main reason is that to release a single, we would like to do a photo shoot and do a video.
Too.
Yeah, do a video, do a cover, stuff like that. And that we can't do without actually being in the same place at the same time.
Because remember, he lives in Luxembourg and I live in Sweden. So
yeah. So this tour is the first time that we will be in the same room together since last year.
Since August last year.
Yeah. So we won't have the opportunity to do a photo shoot and do the video until this tour. So that's one of the main reasons why we are moving it ahead. Sven also asks, will we ever see Javelin as support act for Ashbury? I'd love
that. My vocal cords wouldn't. I mean, if you consider the fact that I am the live member for Ashbury Heights, I take on all vocals for the female parts in Ashbury right now. And I'm also the front and the lead and the musician and everything in Javelin. That's my baby. So I'd have to not only perform 30 minutes with Javelin and then perform 60 plus minutes with Ashbury. I do not know how my abdominal muscles would survive that. It would be fun. And Johan's hands would bleed because he's also the other member and guitarist of Javelin. So it would be super fun. It would be amazing. And if we somehow crammed in a Javelin song at any point in any space in the future live, that would make me super happy. But I don't know if that's possible. We'll see.
Tom Bolle asks, and Tom Bolle, we remember you.
We remember you.
Yeah, Tom Bolle is a very old fan. Not as in Tom Bolle is very old as a person, but
not like he's ancient.
Yeah, Tom Bolle has been with us for a long time. We appreciate your support a lot, and we do remember you. And it's great to hear from you again. And Tom asks how much of music is actually created live and how much is playback or pre-recorded. I would also like to know whether it's more difficult for Jazz to get into the songs that weren't written with her in mind to start with. Does she still remember the lyrics to the old songs easily? Yeah, the first one, how much is actually created live and how much is playback or pre-recorded. The main beats, bass, and pads, and the main stuff is pre-recorded. Elliot usually adds live synths, and Johan adds live guitars and flourishes and stuff. So basically, if Ashbury Heights music is actually kind of layered, if we wanted to play everything we do live,
we'd have an army live.
Yeah, we'd have
an army,
like a 15-man band, 15 people at least.
Yeah, we have to be huge.
Yeah. So basically, we have 2 people who play things live, and they play leads and key elements to the songs. And usually, like we said previously, they add things that aren't there on the records, which we think is more fun. And the other one, whether it's difficult for you to sing songs that weren't written for you, you answered that already. So you already saw that.
Yeah, and if I remember the old lyrics, yes, I do remember the old lyrics. Sometimes I remember them more than you do.
Yeah, actually, I remember most of the old lyrics. I can't believe I still remember songs like "Cry Havoc" or
I can't believe I remembered Penance. I don't know why I remember Penance, but I just do.
Yeah, we're playing a lot of songs from the first and second album this tour, and I still remember everything like it was yesterday. So
me too. It's gonna be great fun doing them again, but in a new way, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Okay, so next question
that you can.
Andrea Fabio Catoni asks us, I have seen you live a couple of times. As far as I got, Elliot is using live for the tracks while he has a keyboard and a guitar. Which plugins do you use for synth and guitar sounds live? Which hardware synth are you using live? Are you splitting the backing tracks on different channels or have independent mixing on the FOH and stage mixers? Or is it a stereo track? Actually, I'll start from the end. Sometimes we use stems and have like the song split into different groups, but this is very time consuming. It takes me like a lot of time to make these stems. So usually we don't, because stems are only useful if we've like rehearsed ways of utilizing it. Like, it's really cool to split the songs into 5 different parts if we have the opportunity to, if we've rehearsed like live filtering and live arpeggios and stuff like that, so we can actually take parts of the songs and manipulate them live. That's awesome. But usually we don't have the equipment, or we don't have that kind of opportunity, because when you play live, you usually don't have those. We don't have the time to rehearse like this, and we don't have the equipment, the time to set up equipment like this. So while we'd like to do this more often, we have done it a few times. But we'd like to do it more often, usually we don't. Usually we just use stereo tracks for the backing tracks. And as for the hardware synths and the hardware we're using live, I direct you to Jasmine and Joanne and Elliot.
Yeah, Johan, he says through me, he can't answer for Elliot uses at the moment, and he's fairly certain that he uses no hardware synths at all and does all his keyboards with the VSTIs. He also says he believes Anders has a better idea how the setup of Ashbury Heights used to be during his absence was wired, but he believes Elliot did something interestingly high-tech. He's really good with the complicated stuff. Insert caveman noises. During my time in Ashbury, there's always been the same stereo backtrack for both the front of house and the stage. For me, I have in the past used more hardware than I would probably have. Gear is fun. A Roland Accent guitar and the Almighty Moog probably bring the favorites, although if I would get to play it with the Juno I used on the first tour I did with Ashbury Heights, I would probably be in love with that too. At the time, I was a rock guitarist, and that presses button and went bleep bloop, and really didn't appreciate it nearly enough. As of right now, I am playing both keyboards and guitars through a laptop running Reaper with Scuffum S-Gear for guitar sounds. And this time, a bit of a challenge. I'm only using a free synthesizer called Surge for synth sounds. Highly recommend both. Hardware is great, but software is lightweight and a hell of a lot cheaper. So to specify, he uses Scuffum S-Gear for his guitar sounds, like amps and everything that he'd like. And the synthesizer is called Surge, but I can also add that we're using Arturia's Analog Lab as a backup on our end in the software parts. So that's how it works these days. It's a bit different every time though. So next time we might come up with a move or something. Johan likes to change things up a bit.
Janne Tuomainen says, I'd like to hear about the gig you did. I'd like to hear about the gig you did at Finland years ago, and are you coming back someday? I dreamed over 10 years to see Ashbury Heights live someday, and I fear that it's not going to happen here in Finland. We have good news for you, Janne.
We have good news for you, Janne.
We have really good news. We are doing 2 gigs in Finland in 2020. We are playing Helsingfors and Tammerfors. So that's Helsinki and Tampere for you.
Yes, but stay
April.
tuned because we'll give you more information about this at a later date.
So that's happening. So you're in luck. And
you're in
about
luck.
the gig, about the gig in Helsingfors, that was an awesome gig I did with Kari and our temporary keyboardist at the time, Thomas Gunnarsson. That's actually one of the best gigs I ever did. It was on a tiny boat in the harbor of Helsinki, and it was awesome. I think the Finnish audience is great. I can't wait to get back. I'm actually, you might not know this, I'm actually Austro-Bosnian. All of my family is Finnish, and when I play in Tampere, this will be the first time ever that my father and my cousins and my relatives will have the opportunity to see me play live. So I'm looking forward to this a lot, and we are planning something very special for our Finnish audience. Sarah Schulze asks, which song or songs would you like to play the most during your tour? Is there any band you would like to support on tour? I really would like to win a ticket for Hameln Sumpfblume. Read you loud and clear, Sarah. And
read you loud and clear, Sarah.
Yeah, and which song or songs would you like to play the most during tour? Well, the songs we would like to play the most, we will be playing. One song that for this tour we try to, since we will be playing a much longer set than we usually get to play, we'll be playing a 80+ minute set, so a full length concert. So we try to pick songs that fit together thematically, and a lot of those songs were songs from the first album, and these songs you might have heard before, they're gone. I had an accident. The hard drive where we stored all the old tracks fell to the floor and broke. So every time we want to play something older than the Looking Glass Society, I have to remake that song from scratch. And for this tour, I remade I made new mixes, new versions of a lot of old songs, and it's going to be so fun to play these songs live. Actually, the song I'm looking forward to playing live the most, I'm really looking forward to playing Cry Havoc again. Because it's been so long. Cry Havoc hasn't been part of our set since 2010. I think we played it. Like I think we played it at the reunion tour in 2010. I
don't think we did though.
You don't?
We didn't.
So actually, Cry Havoc might have not been played live since 2008.
No, it hasn't.
I do know we played it during the Combi Christ tour we did. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also really looking forward to playing Penance live. We made a new version of Penance that is so groovy. It's going to be awesome.
Good.
That was always a song. That was always a song that was more like that was meant to be more groovy than it turned out. So it's really amazing that it's finally grooving the way it was supposed to. And is there any band we would like to support? There's a lot of bands that I would be willing to support.
There are a lot of bands.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, supporting Depeche Mode would be the dream.
I could never do that because I'd just be lying on the floor like, like I would not be able to grasp my existence if that happened. Trust me, I still get starstruck. I really get starstruck. So
yeah, I'm also like, I think we're both fans of Goldfrapp. Supporting Goldfrapp would be awesome.
Goldfrapp. That would be amazing. There are a bunch of bands.
Yeah. I would really be, if something a bit more realistic. I grew up as a fan of Covenant, and I've been a friend.
Oh God, Yes.
Yeah, and we both known Eskil Simonsson for many years. He's been a supporter of Ashbury Heights since our first demo.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's a wonderful person. We still love Covenant, and going on tour with Covenant would probably be super fun. So
it would be the world.
Yeah, so that would be awesome. And Sarah also says that she would like to win a ticket for Hanen Sumpfblume, and
well, Sarah,
it's looking good for
you're
you,
getting
Sarah.
a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt Fortwängler. So that he's American. So that's Matt Fortwängler. Greetings from Washington D.C. First off, just a big heartfelt thank you for continuing to write music and tour in 2020. Thank you. You are insanely talented, and your music means so much to me. Thank you.
Aww. Thank you.
How would you describe your mindset today compared to when you first started creating music over 10 years ago? Is it easier or tougher now to write music? Well, 10 years ago, I was doing music. 10 years ago, I was doing music full time. Music was the only thing I did.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. I stopped doing music full time in 2010. And doing music as a extracurricular activity, I'm very grateful that I can still find it within me to make music during weekends, because during weekdays I'm busy being a guy in a suit at a bank. So basically, writing music now is, I don't think writing music is tougher now. I actually think we're much more skilled now. Jasmine helped me with a new song for the new upcoming compilation, Ghost House Sessions, a few weeks ago, and what she sent me was inspired and incredibly impressive. I think we are much more accomplished musicians today than we ever were. It's just difficult to find the time to make that effort.
From my part, I mean, you have been doing music for such a long time. When I got to know you, when we actually got to know each other, I was still like a teenager. I was like, what, 16, 17 something. And
17.
You had previous, 17. And you had a lot of bands, and you had a band, and you guys sounded amazing. So when we started Ashbury, I had actually no goddamn clue what to do. I did not know how to work Cubase or a synthesizer or anything. And we made it work somehow. I mean, it worked. Our first album is good enough and everything. But after I left Ashbury, and me leaving Ashbury was, I don't want to go into why I left, but when I did, I had the opportunity to grow as an independent musician and put my own taste to what I think music should be like when it comes from me. So I got to learn how to overcome that incessant voice talking to you all the time, telling you that whatever you do, it sucks. This is not good enough. This lyric is not good enough. This sound is not good enough. And I had to overcome that, which is a big part. And looking back, if I could talk to myself from 10 years ago, I'd tell myself to stop fucking worrying. I mean, people don't care as much as you think they do. And in the end, it's going to be awesome. And the two of us, me and Anders, even though we stopped doing music together in Ashbury, we've done other things outside of Ashbury. We've grown as people. We're becoming more, I think we complement each other better now than we ever did in the first century, so to speak. I mean, we've just grown as people, and you learn stuff. You learn technical things. I just think that we're better at, I don't know, realizing the thing that we're thinking, like putting sound to our thoughts and making it sound like we want to, because we know how things work now. But like Anders said, doing all of those things that you've learned, it takes time and it takes resources and it takes inspiration sometimes. And having a job, Anders has a day job. He is a fancy person at a fancy bank. I run my own company. I work whenever I want to. So it's easier for me. but I have other issues instead, being a big blocker. But time. We need time. So that's my long-winded answer to that question. It was a really good question, though.
Yeah.
Really good question.
And as for my mindset today, when I'm doing what I do as my day job, I'm not making anyone happy. I'm not making any difference in anyone's lives.
You're making your boss happy.
I'm just making a paycheck. But when I make music, I know I make a difference. I know there are people who rely on what I do. I know there are people who have relied on what I did to get through tough times. And I know that what I've done has actually made a difference for some people. And even if basically as a musician, even if I only made a difference for one person, that would still be more valuable than what I do as a user experience designer at the European Investment Bank.
Definitely.
Because my mindset is that making music is extremely valuable. Making art is extremely valuable. It's more valuable to me than anything else.
I've always said I have ink blood for a reason, because life without art would be a life missed, a life just gone by.
Yeah. The older you get, the more you realize that everything you do except for making art is a distraction. It's a distraction from making art. So next question, Stephanie Lundell asks, hi, I've been a huge fan for quite some time now. My question is, will Jasmine be staying with Ashbury Heights permanently? And will any of the cover music you did that's on YouTube make its way into a new album? Love all the songs. And one last question, any chance for a US tour? Would love to see you guys. So for the question regarding the US tour, see our previous answer. And regarding the covers, we're really happy that you enjoy them. A lot of people seem to enjoy them. That's wonderful. Problem is that covers, we actually require the written permission of the people responsible for the original song to be able to release them. And yeah, we're working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to release them later this year. But we can't promise anything, because it's actually possible that they'll say no, because it's quite easy to release like a cover of something when the cover sounds like exactly like the original version. That's quite easy. Our covers tend to sound quite dissimilar to the original, and that means that the original author actually has to hear it, or the person holding the rights of the original author has to hear it and deem whether the song is worthy, ruining the legacy of the original or not. So it's complicated. Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes. We'll have to talk with Jim Morrison's ghost about our latest.
Yeah, exactly. So, and as regards to the to Jasmine's new status with the current setting,
yes,
I'll leave that to Jasmine.
We have been getting this question a lot, both on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and I'm gonna take this opportunity to answer all of you. I know that you're very curious, and a lot of you are very happy to see me back, and I'm super, super thankful for your support, and I really feel the love from you guys. So don't get me wrong, I love playing with Ashbury, and for the moment, I am a permanent fixture in the live setting. That's the deal we have. We have collaborated on music as well, but there is no actual official answer to that question yet. You'll know when we tell you. So we're going to answer that question. It's going to be answered soon enough, but not in this Q&A. But I just want you to know that I'm really, really happy, and I'm super thankful for your support. I read all of your comments, and I I see that you were very well-meaning. So thank you so much. It means the world to me. You're gonna have to wait for that answer.
Okay, so Malina Sophie Naujock asks, which towns you played in did you like the most so far? Okay, so that's a difficult question. There's a lot of towns that meant a lot to us.
Yes.
For example, in Leipzig, we recorded the video for Spiders, which is a great memory. And
Leipzig is beautiful with its architecture. We both really enjoyed just spending our days downtown and just looking at Leipzig. It's a beautiful town, and the gig was awesome.
And then we also have so many good memories from Gothenburg in Sweden, because Gothenburg always treats us very well. And we both have a lot of friends in Gothenburg, and Gothenburg is a town that means a lot to both of us. So that's also. And then in Germany, there's Bochum, because Bochum has always treated us so well. The last time we played in Bochum, there were so many people. There were so much people, and everyone was so enthusiastic.
I mean,
and
you
the
were
gig was just magical.
Screaming, you were jumping, you were singing along, and you were talking with us afterwards, which is also a great thing about you guys, is that when we mingle with you after our shows, you come up to us and you talk to us, and you want to just ask us questions or just do something stupid. I don't know. Please continue doing that. And Bochum, you really delivered. I mean, you guys are amazing. Mind you, we love all of Germany, but Bochum really, man, you guys are amazing. And Scotland. Scotland. That's not a city, but we love Scotland.
yeah. Scotland is. It's like we only been in Scotland once, but our memories of Edinburgh, it was an amazing gig. We'd love to come back.
Yeah.
Then there's Petra Ann, who asks, how often do you guys actually tour? It feels like I've been listening to you guys forever, but it's only until now the stars and moon have aligned to allow me to actually see you guys live. By the way, I will be at the Bochum show. So first and foremost, good choice.
Good. Amazing choice.
Yeah, the Bochum show will probably be amazing if our experience is anything to go on. Okay, so we don't tour a lot at all.
We did tour a lot, but that was ages ago.
That's so true.
Anyway, are there any more questions?
No, jag tror det var allt.
Thank you so much for asking us questions and taking part in this thing. And we'd also like to thank you beforehand for showing up to this tour and showing your support and making sure that this is possible for us to do. And if we did not answer your specific question in this video, I promise you that we will answer them in the comment section on Facebook under the post called Q&A Gigs, Tours, and More. So, just stay put for that. And again, cheers to the winners. I'll list them in the description of this video and in the credits of this video, just to really put it out there who won the tickets to the tours. So thank you so much again for being here for us, and we look forward to seeing you.
See you soon, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.